Maybe you have.
Now suddenly I got to laugh out of you. Who's supposed to pay for all of this benevolence? This is the one thing I love about you liberals. You want to help everybody, but on someone else's expense. Who is supposed to support all these people?
I'm telling you, I think it's worthwhile to support them by the taxpayers paying money. You got to have a very cold...
You mean we should pay more taxes in Florida? We don't pay enough taxes?
Sir, to help the 850,000 people...
Why are they entitled to more money? Tell me why.
Because, it's a great society like Lyndon Johnson proposed.
What do you mean it's a great society? We're bankrupt. The guy is printing money. We're not living here with an excess of money. You're not making any sense now. You're talking as though it's suddenly 1960 and it's Pax Americana and we have money rolling out of our pockets. Obama has bankrupted America by printing money and spending more than we're taking in. How can you say we should support everyone on earth?
Bush bank...
Again, Bush. But Bush is not running for office. Hillary is.
But let's
the age of big liberalism is long over. We can't afford it.
I got to tell you, if we taxed the people who ought to be taxed, we could afford it. Why is
You mean like yourself?
Sure. Why is the
how much do you pay in federal taxes percentage wise?
I don't know the amount.
You don't know. Suddenly you don't know. A man who knows everything doesn't know what he pays in taxes. So give me the percentage rather than the dollar amount.
The percentage, I would guesstimate that we're probably talking, roughly speaking, maybe about 10%, a little bit more.
That's what you pay? That's what you pay?
Yes, sir.
How do you get away with that?
Well,
where the federal tax code calls for 39%, how are you paying 10?
Because I have business deductions. I'm taking the gross.
In other words, so you're running a shyster operation.
Sir, now
you're kiting money, you're hiding money, and you're telling me I should pay for the bums coming in from all over the world. I'm paying 39%. Why is that?
Well, maybe you don't have the deductions that I do.
Maybe I'm not as smart as you are as a liberal. Is that it? Because you know how to run the game?
It's not that.
Maybe I pay retail and you pay wholesale. So you're as smart as Warren Buffett. So I have an idea for you. Why don't you just pay 39% of your income instead of 10%? And then you don't have to tell the rest of us what to pay.
I got to tell you something, okay?
Why don't you write a check for the 29% that you're not paying and say, I'm going to show by example that I want to help the poor. Please donate this money to a Haitian who just came here on a balsa raft. Thank you for the call. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUI-COIN. All right, so Hillary ignored questions from reporters about the bribery allegations. Plain and simple bribery. There's a big difference between changing a law and this and that and doing favors, lobbying. That's how politics works. That's who gives you your money. They give them the money to get what they want. But bribery is another thing. Bill Clinton's earnings, based upon her tenure as Secretary of State, as alleged by this new book, tied to foreign donors, that's bribery. That's what it comes down to. And then we have the ice cream man, Marco Rubio, who should quit from the race right now. He was never qualified. He's a nobody. In my day, they used to be known as a non-entity. This is a kid who, if I were a teacher in college, I can tell you right now, I'd have to mentor him and coach him to get him through a class. In a Spanish interview, Rubio says it's important not to cancel Obama's executive amnesty. You hear this? During a recent interview conducted in Spanish this week with Univision's host, he reversed himself from criticism he offered not too long ago. So in other words, Rubio was a phony through and through. That's why I called him the ice cream man. But, at some level, doesn't rise to the level of bribery. It's a little different. Jerry on WABC, welcome to the Savage Nation. What's on your mind?
This whole thing with politics in the United States, it is monarchical, okay? Just go back to the second president, Adams. His son, president, boom. Harrison, his grandson, president, all the way down the line. Lincoln's son was even involved with politics and shady business with the railroads when he was an attorney in New York. Then you get to the 20th century.
Wait. Slow down. But we had 8 years of Bush. Didn't we? Bush 1?
Yeah, we had Bush 1. You didn't have Bush... No, Bush 1.
And we had 4 years of Bush 1 and 8 years of Bush 2, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
We had 12 years of Bush. Do we need another 8?
That's what I'm saying. We don't
Wait,
need it.
we had 8 years of Bill Clinton. Do we need another 8 years now of Hillary Clinton?
What I'm saying is we got to put the brakes on this, okay? We overthrew monarchy over 200-something years ago, and now all of a sudden it's getting worse and worse and worse. It used to be every 20, 30, 40 years you had a relative who became president. Yeah, all their kids became senators, congressmen, governors. Look at here in New York. You got the Cuomos, Kennedys in Massachusetts. But as far as the presidency goes, no. All of a sudden, we're starting to get them backed up like a bad toilet.
My friend, there is a tsunami about to engulf the entire world called ISIS, radical Islam. Have any of these esteemed candidates on either side of the aisle discussed the tsunami?
They don't care.
That's right. They don't care. Has one Republican said, when I am president, I will squash them like a bug? I will take them out onto the third generation so they never threaten the world again. And here is how I will take them out. Here is how I will stop them. Which Republican has said that?
You're 100% right, but then we got to jump across.
We will not tolerate them killing Christians and Yazidis and Jews. We will not tolerate it. The minute I'm president, we smash them. We're going to smash them with the anvil of American military power. They will not survive. We're going to take them down. Tell me which president has said that.
None of them, but no one in the world has done that. Look at Europe. They haven't done crap. They haven't done
Why? Why? Well, Jordan is fighting them. Egypt is fighting them. Obama's not fighting them. Why not? Well, we know why Obama's not fighting them. But why are the American people so ignorant with regard to this tsunami that is literally hovering over our heads, called radical Islam? And why are we bringing in 100,000 Muslims a year into this country? How many of them have been vetted for terrorism ties? Answer: zero. Zero! Don't tell me that we have a clean system.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation. You know, I love it's people who skim the taxes, pay little tax. They use every trick, the triple Irish. They tell you to pay more taxes. Now, that caller, I actually like him. He's a liberal Democrat. He's an intelligent man. I've recognized him from a few calls before. But he admitted he pays only 10% in federal tax. He thinks he doesn't even pay that. He doesn't know because he has every deduction known to mankind. But he sits there saying we should pay more and take care of everyone on earth. And that's the mentality of too many people in America, like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says that his secretary pays more money than he does, percentage-wise. Well, that's because he pays as little as he can. Now, no one is stopping Warren Buffett from paying more. Warren Buffett's paying on dividend income. He pays 15% instead of 39%. And he gets up and tells you to pay your fair share. Warren Buffett ought to pay his fair share. And while he's at it, Warren Buffett ought to stop blocking the Keystone XL pipeline. And the reason he does that is not because he's an environmentalist. It's because his railway cars and the big railroad he owns carries the oil from the Alberta tar sands to our refineries, and it's much cheaper to run it down the pipeline. So, you know, everything is, you got to look at what it is. And why do you think people read newspapers and go on the internet and listen to talk radio? You're looking for some insights and perspective. You may not come out thinking differently about who you're going to vote for, or you may. And that's one of the reasons people are hanging on to so many of my words, is because they know one thing they're going to get from me is an analysis rather than just a parrot. A parrot I am not. An analyst I am. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, I believe in helping people. I saw a show the other day I'd rather help animals, by the way, than people, even though I'm giving out $100,000 in scholarships. And I'm going to read some of them to you. I got a few in that are so good, they're unbelievable. In fact, I'll read one in a minute. Some of the winners, they'll be announced, the contest ended. We'll announce it July 4th, but some of them are so well written it'll give you hope that there's a whole generation of intelligent people out there who are 20 years old who know what's going on, or 18 years old. Don't think that they're all pot-smoking drug addicts or that they're all sex maniacs and have nothing to do with their lives. Some of them know just what's going on. It's beautiful to read these things. The other night I watched a TV show late at night about the Nat Geo, about the short-nosed monkeys of, some high peaks in China. And it was astounding. First of all, I'm an animal lover. I have been my whole life. I always had great sympathy for animals, as you know. I'm not looking to burnish my halo, and I've given I've given significant money to elephant rescue groups, and it's heartbreaking to see the killers killing these elephants, and they just seized millions of dollars in tusks in Thailand. Think of the animals suffering, and the babies running away scared as their mothers machine gunned to death by helicopters in these African hellholes. The government military are using helicopters, gunships, to shoot elephant herds. And the corrupt whoremongers in the UN could stop it. Those rats in the United Nations, those worthless UN rats. They don't stop the elephant trade. How many of them making money on drugs and elephant tusks? How many of them? Anyway, don't get me started on that. So I saw a show on the short-nosed monkeys of China. I was astounded to watch this thing. A whole herd of these things live up there above the alpine zone, and it shows them shivering almost to death in the winter as the snow falls on them. They huddle together and they eat almost nothing. And then it shows in early spring as the first early buds come up, they start nibbling on the buds, and you see them coming back to life and how they survive on next to starvation. And all you want to do is reach out and save them. But wait, here's the point of the story. Their habitat has been slowly eroded by humans living up in those mountains in China who have built farms. They primarily, eat the trees. Then they show at the same area, they show a similar area of the beautiful pandas. The pandas' habitat has been eroded or denuded by Chinese population moving into the mountains and cutting down the bamboo and building gardens, to live on the vegetables. Listen to what China's doing. Evil China has relocated entire communities of human beings to restore bamboo habitat. Are you listening to this? So the pandas are coming back, and they showed these individuals moving the pandas into their, sanctuary. And the strangest thing is that they wear a panda costume as they carry the panda in some kind of litter up the mountain into the new habitat. To not scare the panda, they actually put on a costume that makes them look like a panda. And then they release the mother panda and her baby into the wild, and you see them reunite in a few hours. They get together and they hopefully will survive. And all I wanted to do was find a way to help the pandas up there in China and help the short-nosed monkeys. I gave up on humanity. I couldn't stand humanity anymore. I didn't care about humanity. I wanted to turn from humanity. And then they showed some drawings from 1890. A Buddhist monk living in the mountains was the first to notice the short-nosed monkeys of this area, and he sketched them. They had never been seen before. No one ever heard of them. But this solitary human being, this isolated man, this monk, saw them, and he studied them his whole life, and he reported on them in the 1890s. And it led me to understand a few things that I've known my whole life. A, the idealists keep the world going. The artists keep the world dreaming. And the philosophers keep the world thinking. And I invented that just for you on the spur of the moment, on the fly, right here on the Savage Nation. So don't spit on the idealists. Don't laugh at the artists. And don't put down the philosophers because they're not Republican enough for you. Do me a favor. Open up your mind. Don't run around like an oaf. Think that that's going to save the world. Don't run around saying that all of the monkeys can die and the elephants can die and all you care about is a hamburger. I don't want to hear it anymore. I hear it too much from the idiots on the so-called conservative side. It makes me sick. Now let's go back to the idiocy of our own country. 855-407-282. Detroit, WJR. Mike, what's on your mind today?
Hello, sir. Thank you for taking the call. I have to respectfully disagree with your supposition of how these facts are going to affect most of our country, most of the willful idiots that are happy if the drive-through line is short, the internet's fast, and the Starbucks is hot. I just think next time Bruce Jenner texts and gets in a wreck and that makes big Kardashian news, we all forget about this and we move on.
You're saying that they're going to forget about Hillary's dough, the bribery scandal?
Forget about it, or it never having hit their radar to begin with, I think.
So you mean the bribery scandal as alleged today about Bill and Hillary cashing in on her cabinet position will go away when they look at the behind of a woman who has no talent?
You and I won't forget it, but sorely, I believe that the nation en masse will be distracted and it'll fade away. And I hate it, but I don't think it can have the intended effect on an audience that's unwilling to hear it and be
All right, so what do you want to know? You want to blame someone for it? You want to blame the media for it? You want to blame Hollywood? You want to blame the news? You're right to do so. It's all mindlessness. But has it been any different in your lifetime, really?